Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third game in the THH StarCraft 2 tourney number two. It's between BCC, also known as Salison, as the green Protoss in the top, and Iconia, the blue Protoss in the bottom, also known as Merrily.
Yeah, and there's another Protoss versus Protoss matchup. This is our second one, and so this is, like I said, game three. So it's tied on Metalopolis here, which is always a good map. It's one of my favorite maps, and usually always provides interesting games.
So they had they've Ed won the first game, and so if anybody remembers or looks back through the archives, I don't know if we actually have that game back from our first tournament. Ed, also known as Iconia, tried his Colossus drop on the first one, or he was halfway across the map in order to drop it. And I think in the first game these two played, the Colossus drop actually did happen and did make it. But we felt that this was a better game, and so we're going to cast this one instead. But if you were wondering if it happened, it happened. The Colossus did get dropped on the mineral line. So at this point, the games are split 1-1, and this is game three of the match.
And what I like already I'm seeing from Iconia is that he's got an early scout out. He had a great pylon placement there off his ramp, and now he's actually got his rally point for this probe set to all four of the points to really find out where he is. This map is crucial for finding out where your opponent is, especially with the distances being so far. And that's why, like, even Cass said, this map is just such a great map. It gives so much opportunities to really expand on units, really get a good base, lots of bases, lots of economy, big armies. And scouting is really key. So already he did see that, BCC is where he is and that he's got a lot of distance to cover. Hopefully he takes this Zelnaga, which it doesn't look like he's going to.
Yeah, usually, especially in these opposite positions like this, it's always good to try to leave at least your initial probe on one of those towers to kind of get a good idea of when if someone's going to do an early push or something like that. But in always scouting first, getting the being the first person to find out where the other one is on these four-player maps does give you sort of a slight advantage for sure. You always get to know, it gives you a better picture of what you want to do tech-wise, and because the distance, the far distance in this instance, it could change certain strategies, because obviously a rush isn't going to be as effective in these positions and things like that.
So one thing Ed doing here, you can see this probe sneaking off into the top here. We've got a pylon, proxy pylon going down, top left-hand corner.
Yeah, which is really good play, because he knows, in his mind that he's definitely going to be going for warp gates. As you can see, the warp gate technology has just started, so he'll be able to have a really great, close, easy access to the opponent's base and be able to do some really solid harassment to the natural expansion as well as the main base.
Yeah, and this map is so big it's really hard to actually scout for all of those proxy pylons. You can check a few regular places, but it's such a big map. Where do you go? Where do you look? You could spend all day looking.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly, and it's really good play to do that. It's good, nice, good game management.
I would say at this point too, I would want some more scouting if I was either of these players. I would want to know, like, okay, what's he got? I would want to go up the doorstep and just see what's blocking, see if, how many stalkers or how many zealots, and just get a better idea.
Yeah, I think that
This,
50 crystals is worth it.
If
yeah.
you if you look, Salson BCC actually has a probe sitting in the Iconia's mineral line here, which is really interesting to me. Just kind of sitting there, and Iconia is not really doing anything about that.
I think that's a really good play by Salison. I think I've seen that before where you can't, if you stick him there and you don't have him doing anything, and Ed is so saturated that he just doesn't see it.
Yep,
And yeah,
blends
some
right in.
great, yeah,
I didn't see it. I had to stop and look at the base for a second. The markings on the probes are so small,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
very hard to tell the difference. Very hard. And it looks like
Robo coming up, Observer coming out.
Iconia is moving out here with a stalker and three zealots and a stalker.
That's
He
good.
has
Yeah.
seen that probe now. I think he's moved his guys somewhere,
Looks
looking
like
for
he
that
just
probe.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to take it out. So, but it's still let's take a look at BCC's camera, it gave him a pretty good picture of the tech, which is really great play. So even though he ended up losing that, it gave him great scouting, and he's managed to get all of Iconia's tech here with minimal
So it looks like
loss.
+1 weapons coming up for BCC, and also a stronger worker count at this point. So really starting to macro it up.
And we got a Twilight Council coming down now. What do you think? You think we're going to see Charge or Blink? That's what I'm wondering. Or maybe even a transition to Templars.
Probably Blink. He's got a few more Stalkers than I would if I was going to go for Charge. So
Yeah, it's always hard to say.
So Iconia expanding to the far left, obviously not what you'd expect for his natural expansion.
It's
So
usually... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's a risky play for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Very risky. Because especially on Metalopolis, it's not hard to defend these natural expansions, but in these positions, it actually makes it easier since the distances are so far.
So they're coming to the middle here. It looks like possible clash. Oh, and Ed has spotted it. He's running away. Obviously, good move there. Stalker's just a bit faster than Zealots, so they're gonna be able to smack on those guys. But
we got an Immortal
coming in. Yep, Immortal are just gonna rip through those Stalkers so quickly and so easily. But Iconia electing to back off again, and leaving one Zealot as the sacrificial lamb. But you can just see, like, the more Immortals you have in these Stalker fights, it's just you're cutting through them like butter. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he does have that observer sitting on the front corner, which is really giving him a really good advantage to see when that push is going to come. Hopefully he, watches to see if there's going to be a transition of army unit or anything. Maybe I would take that observer, poke up a little bit, see if there's anything else around an expansion.
I'm not sure I agree with what Salo, he had the advantage there. I would have pressed on. I would have come into Ed's base and just had a look and see, what's he got. Has he got cannons defending or what? So two Stalkers coming in on that proxy on the top left-hand corner of the screen. Salo in the middle now regrouping. And then Ed just macroing up, building up some more units, and getting his second base going.
And it looks like both players are elected to go with Blink for their choice from the Twilight Council.
Yep, and it does look like, with BCC having that +1 upgrade, it's going to be, a larger benefit for him if they come into a clash with the same number of units, most definitely with that ground unit +1.
And so normally I would say that what BCC is doing here, he's taken 2 Zealots, put them on the watchtowers in the middle. It's great, gives them lots of idea of what's coming, when it's coming. But unfortunately for him, Ed's proxy pylon location and Ed's second base location are just not going to be seen by those and not affected by them, really.
Exactly.